I didn't intend to do any book reviews on this channel unless they were really old books by people who were way too dead to ever run across them. I do know that a lot of book reviewers are tagging authors in their posts, which I think is not cool. If it's a good review, yeah, that's fine. But if it's a bad review, that's just kind of rude to tag somebody and be like, oh, by the way, I hate your stuff. And my God, I don't want this to be a negative account unless I'm doing one of those like book tropes that I hate, because that's like good-natured fun. It's not intentionally ripping into somebody. I have seen some book reviews on YouTube that are harsh. Some of them veer into mean-spirited really quickly, to the point where you kind of wonder if they just hate that author specifically. I do think that negative reviews have their place. You don't want somebody to spend their hard-earned money on a book that's just not good. And if you're being honest and not intentionally mean-spirited and hateful, there's a place for negativity in a review to let people know, hey, if you're going to read this book, here's things you might want to look out for. And things that you might have found to be a negative, they might view to be a positive. You know, whenever there's nothing but 5-star reviews on a book, I get a little suspicious, because there's no way everybody loved that book, you know? But review bombing has been a thing lately on Goodreads. People that haven't read the book's not even released yet, and people are just giving it 1-star reviews just to tank the book for whatever reason. And I think there needs to be a clear difference between this is a negative review and I read it and here is a thoughtful representation of why I didn't like it, versus, oh yeah, I just kind of want to be a dick today. Tangent aside, I just finished reading Assistant to the Villain, and I thought it was really cute. Not perfect, but I thought it was cute, and I thought I would share my review today.
La la la, clicky keyboard noises, la la la, keyboard noises.
Shoot, I didn't even grab the book. Why do I never come prepared for this stuff? I gotta go run and grab the book real quick. So this is the book, Assistant to the Villain, by Hannah Nicole Maurer. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it. Sorry. While I'm not a fan of sprayed edges on a book, the book cover caught my attention immediately. I think it's worth noting that I don't have TikTok, so I did not know that this was a TikTok series first that then got turned into a book. So if you're on TikTok and this series sounds familiar to you, you're more hip to the trends than I am. But either way, I found this book on the shelf at Second and Charles. It was brand new. It wasn't secondhand, but I did find it at my bookstore. Full disclosure, for some reason that I don't have any real explanation for, I thought this was like a modern story. Like, I don't know why. There's medieval weaponry and knight stuff on there's literally a frog wearing a crown. I don't know why it ever occurred to me that this was going to be set in a modern setting, but no, this is like a medieval-ish type fantasy world. That's a me thing. It wasn't enough to get me to stop reading, because I don't really care where a book is set as long as it's interesting. So this is a grumpy sunshine rom-com type thing. The villain is the opposing force to King Benedict, where Benedict has the valiant guards, the villain has the malevolent guards. He hangs heads from his ceiling when he gets angry. You know, he's the bad guy. Then you've got Evie Sage, who is this ray of sunshine that speaks her mind, has really silly segues, and chips away at the cold heart of the villain. They run into the woods and he offers her a job, and so now she is the assistant to the villain.
That's the name of the movie.
Skip forward a few months, which is exactly what they do. She gets the job offer, and then the next chapter is a time jump for a couple of months. There's a traitor on the evil staff, and they are sabotaging the villain's plans. They are causing all sorts of havoc, and the villain tasks Evie with figuring out who is responsible for causing the sabotage before they ruin everything, basically. There's some family drama in this book, both on his side and on her side. There's fantasy in the form of magic healers and trolls with baking skills, and the aforementioned frog who speaks via single-worded placards. The titling of the chapters is based on who is the focus of the chapter. It's either Evie or the villain. I liked that it went back and forth between the two of them, and I actually would have enjoyed a few extra chapters from the villain because I really liked the chapters where he was the focus, honestly. I really liked how he rationalized some of his more kinder moments and still was like, no, I'm still a bad guy. I did it for bad reasons. We're like, yeah, but you tortured a guy because he was mean to ducks. It was fun to see that he's not like nothing but evil. I also liked that chapter 46 was in his point of view. I feel like the detective work that Evie did made sense for somebody who is not a detective. I saw some reviews that said that like the writing style was kind of juvenile, and they were like, "Oh, it reads like a YA, but it's for adults." Like I don't really know what they meant by the tone is a bit juvenile. I think it was fine. It's in a vaguely similar style to how I write, which might be a bias on my part, but I thought it fit the character of Evie really well, and I thought it worked for the tone of the story. I did have to read a few sentences more than once here and there because it didn't flow quite right. It didn't make as much sense as I thought it did. Usually on the reread, I would realize that I was emphasizing a wrong word, which, changed the whole tone of the sentence. Or maybe I didn't realize who was talking at the time. Sometimes it was kind of unclear as to who was talking because some of the voices do sound very similar. And the book is part of, according to Goodreads, a trilogy. The authors probably also said this on TikTok, but it is not a standalone book, which is evident in how the story ended. Right up until about the last 10 pages of the story, the pacing was going really well. And then just all of a sudden, now you're like, oh, I think they're setting it up for a sequel. But there was really no indication that it was going to be a series up until the last 10 pages hit. And then you're like, okay, cool. It would have been nice to have a little bit of forewarning of that before I got started. Could have prepared myself. I feel like if you're going to set up a series, then it needs to be done kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean. The first Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, that was a self-contained movie. At the very end, it set up a couple little tidbits that, oh, Jack's going to be going on a new adventure. It gives you like a resolution, and I feel like if you're going to do a series, the first book needs to do that. But I'm not in the publishing industry, so they did it like a trilogy. I am not super mad at how they ended it. I'm still going to read the second book when it comes out. It didn't upset me too much. It kind of came out of left field, and it was not the smoothest way to set up the second book that was coming. All in all, I'd give this a solid 4, not a 3.9, not a 4.1, exactly at a 4 out of 5. It was a fun, cute little story. There was no steaminess, but there was some tension. So if you're worried about reading a steamy book out in public, you don't have to worry about that. This is not that kind of book. I think it would be fine to take to the beach or to the doctor's appointments or whatever you're doing. It's not going to crack my top list of all-time favorite books or anything, but I think it was a nice little palate cleanser. It was a cute, easy read, and I mean, it was fun. I liked it. It was nice. It's cute. Have you read Assistant to the Villain? Is it on your TBR? Is this the first time you're hearing of this book? If you have read it, what did you think about it? If you watched the TikTok series it's based off of and you read the book, how do the two compare? Because I'm not going to go look it up. That's on TikTok. Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about my most recent read. And I hope you come back next video. I post every other Wednesday, and I talk about reading and writing related things, as well as the occasional artsy craftsy update. Thanks for sticking around. I hope to see you next time. Have a great day. Later.
La la la, clicky keyboard noises. La la la, keyboard noises.